Welcome, history enthusiasts, to the Daily History Podcast. Imagine strolling through the cobbled streets of 17th century London only to wake up to a city ablaze. Today, we unfurl the fiery tapestry of the Great Fire of London, an event that forever transformed the English capital. Join us as we trace the embers back to 1666 and witness how catastrophe gave birth to a modern metropolis. Imagine walking through the tangled alleyways of 1666 London. The air hangs heavy with the scent of wood smoke and the din of market vendors hawking their wares. Timber-framed houses cluster together, their jetties leaning precariously over the narrow streets. This is a city ripe for calamity, its residents wholly unaware of the catastrophe that looms in the near future. We focus our gaze on Pudding Lane, a slender thoroughfare in the heart of the city. It is here, in Thomas Farriner's modest bakery, that a single spark would soon kindle one of the most devastating fires in history. On the night of September 2nd, as the baker and his family lay sleeping, a small flame takes its perilous liberty, catching on to the dry, flour-dusted wood of the oven. London's denizens, living cheek by jowl in their packed dwellings, were all too familiar with the threat of fire. However, the speed with which the flames spread this time was without precedent. The buildings, constructed mainly of wood and tar, acted as kindling for the hungry fire. The absence of effective firefighting methods and the city's narrow lanes, choked with obstructions, allowed the blaze to claim street after street with merciless appetite. It is a firestorm that will not only consume homes and livelihoods, but also lay bare the vulnerabilities of a city on the brink of transformation. On a fateful September morning in 1666, a small spark at Thomas Farriner's bakery on Pudding Lane grew into an uncontrollable inferno. By the second day, the fire had begun to devour the wooden structures of 17th century London with a ravenous appetite, the narrow streets acting as fiery channels, propelling the blaze towards densely populated parts of the city. Despite desperate attempts by the residents to fight back the flames, including the demolition of neighboring buildings to create fire breaks, the destruction marched on, unrelenting. The city's officials were paralyzed by indecision, and orders from the king to tear down houses were delayed, allowing the fire to claim street after street. King Charles II, witnessing the escalating crisis, took personal command, urging citizens to act and assisting in the firefighting efforts. Alongside him, figures like Samuel Pepys, a naval administrator, stood as chroniclers of chaos, their accounts painting vivid pictures of a city under siege by its own hearth. Pepys recorded the despair and disbelief of Londoners as their beloved city succumbed to the flames. By the fourth day, the fire had reduced over 13,000 houses, 87 parish churches, and landmarks like the original St. Paul's Cathedral to smoldering rubble. The flames which had ignited in the bakery spread far and wide, leaving a capital in ashes. Yet from these ashes, a new London was destined to rise, reshaped by both the calamity it suffered and the resolve of its people. As the flames of the Great Fire receded, a charred horizon revealed the high cost paid by London's history and its people. At the heart of the devastation stood the hollow shell of St. Paul's Cathedral, an iconic symbol of the city's spiritual life, now reduced to rubble. The once imposing structure epitomized the era's architectural masterpieces, but on the third day of the fire, the intense heat made its stones explode, and the wooden scaffolding fed the inferno, leaving nothing but a smoldering testament to the fire's wrath. But it was not just the buildings that suffered. The human toll was grievous, with countless Londoners displaced, their homes consumed by the blaze. Thrust into the streets, families grappled with the loss of their livelihoods and possessions. Historical records may fall silent on the exact number of lives lost to the flames, but the diaries and chronicles from those dark days speak of immense anguish and upheaval across the social strata. The fire also ravaged London's economy, with businesses destroyed, trade hubs annihilated, and vital supplies scorched. The economic engine of England's capital stalled. The cost of reconstruction loomed large over the city, but so did the potential for profiteering and corruption, as rebuilding efforts got underway. Amidst all of this turmoil, the seeds of social change and modernization began to sprout, leading to innovations in infrastructure and firefighting techniques that would leave a lasting legacy far beyond the city's once constricted lanes. As the embers died down, London faced its most significant challenge yet, rising from its own ashes. Under the remarkable leadership of architect Christopher Wren and his colleagues, the city embarked on an ambitious journey of reconstruction, pulling itself out of the debris of the infamous blaze of 1666. An era of groundbreaking architectural design and urban planning was about to dawn. Transforming the scarred landscape began with the introduction of the London Building Act in 1667, setting forth new regulations to create a safer, better organized city. The width of roads was increased for improved access, structures were required to be built with brick or stone instead of timber, and thatched roofs were no longer permitted. These measures aimed not only to mitigate the risk of future fires, but also to assert a new aesthetic identity for London. Christopher Wren, appointed as the surveyor of the King's works, wielded his vision and brilliance in reshaping London's skyline. His brainchild, the majestic St. Paul's Cathedral, became the pièce de résistance of the city's rebirth. With its iconic dome and grandeur, the cathedral stood as a symbol of London's resilience, and Wren's prolific work didn't stop there. He contributed to the renovation of 52 churches, each reflecting both the classical and the modern in their designs. Alongside the architectural advancements, changes in urban planning steered London toward its modern form. The rejigged layout saw wider streets and meticulously planned spaces which fostered a better flow within the city, a stark contrast to the haphazard alleys that had previously defined it. Squares and public buildings were strategically placed to enhance both functionality and the emerging aesthetic standards. The city's new face was a testament to thoughtful planning and preventative measures, ensuring that London would never again succumb to such a catastrophic fate. Wren and his contemporaries not only reconstructed a city, they crafted an enduring legacy. Their visionary works echo through centuries as a reminder of how, from the great adversity of the fire, London was reborn with a built environment that was not only more beautiful, but also much safer and infinitely more resilient. As London emerged from the ashes, a groundbreaking transformation in urban design began to unfold, one that would not only reshape the city itself, but also cast a long shadow over future urban development and architecture worldwide. The Great Fire of 1666 became a catalyst, accelerating ideas in city planning and construction that prioritized resilience against such disasters. In the fire's wake, city leaders recognized the need for significant change. The haphazardly constructed timber houses, narrow alleyways, and the dense urban layout had facilitated the tragedy. As a result, the Rebuilding Act of 1667 was introduced, laying down new regulations for city reconstruction. The act demanded wider streets, brick and stone to replace flammable wood, and the implementation of effective fire breaks to prevent the spread of future fires. These legislative changes marked a turning point in architectural practices. Beyond London's borders, the lessons learned acted as a warning signal to cities around the globe. Urban planners and authorities began to ponder the importance of urban resilience. The Great Fire emphasized the need for organized, well-thought-out city planning that prioritized public safety. Ensuring a strategic approach to fire prevention became integral in urban development. Consequently, these events spurred what could be considered the inception of modern fire safety regulations. Through such adversity, London's identity was reforged. The city's resurrection symbolized the burgeoning spirit of the Enlightenment, with reason and progress at the forefront. Sir Christopher Wren, the visionary architect, led the charge in reimagining London's skyline. His most notable contribution, the new St. Paul's Cathedral, rose from the ruins as a beacon of renewed faith and determination. It embodied London's Renaissance, not merely in bricks and mortar, but in spirit. This period of reconstruction represented more than just recovery. it signified reinvention. London's transformation resonated far beyond its own horizon, influencing urban development for centuries to come. It is a narrative of how a catastrophic event can lead to revolutionary thoughts and improvements that echo throughout history, designs that would become standard practice in city planning. The Phoenix effect of the Great Fire, a symbol that continues to encapsulate the unwavering ability of a city to renew and evolve. As the swirling smoke dissipated and the last ember lost its glow, the Great Fire of London left its indelible mark on history. With most of the medieval city turned to ash, the year 1666 will forever be etched as one of transformation. This conflagration, which began as an insignificant flame in the early hours of September 2nd, rapidly evolved into an unstoppable force, razing landmarks, livelihoods, and legacies to the ground. The Great Fire taught us harsh lessons in urban vulnerability and the critical importance of preparedness. Londoners of the time, although devastated, learned the importance of building a city that was not just resilient, but also flexible in the face of adversity. Out of the ashes rose not only new buildings, but a renewed spirit determined to forge a safety-conscious future. Tying back to our ongoing exploration of resilience and rebirth, it's clear that London's response to the Great Fire echoes these themes powerfully. By rebuilding smarter and stronger, what was once a cluttered and hazardous urban sprawl gave way to a city with wide streets, brick and stone houses, and innovative firefighting measures. This spirit of transformation ensured that London would not only recover, but also thrive, setting a precedent for urban development and fire safety that continues to influence city planning across the globe. Thank you for joining us on this fiery journey through history. If you've enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe to Daily History Podcast and join our community of history aficionados. We'd love to hear what historical events you want us to explore next, so please leave your suggestions in the video comments. The topic with the most likes will receive our special attention in a future episode. Until next time, keep fanning the flames of curiosity and stay tuned for more tales from the past.